So Andre, we've been talking about how we get people to be better at business, and I've been talking to a lot of people about who have trouble being salespeople. They don't like being selly. They think it's dirty. They think it's unpleasant. And we've been talking about how you can be a salesperson by just being a helpful person, by just being one of those people that likes to help people. And by liking to help, you can get somebody to the point where you're having an interesting conversation, but then they fail to close. They don't know how to close at that point. So what's the mindset shift that you've got to go through from saying, I want to really help this person, but then I can't ask them to actually make a decision?
Well, it's a bit of a complex one, but I always say, no matter what you want to achieve, you need to look at mindset and strategies. So strategies are actually how you communicate, what to say, how to form your sentences, and how you set up the conversation to eventually close the sale. But the other part is identity. And if you have beliefs like, it's not going to work, I'm unlucky, I can't sell, I don't know how to do this, I'm unworthy, I don't deserve the 5K, I want to charge. Well, when you get to that point, that acts as a trigger. And as you said, Stuart, there are people who are going quite well up to that trigger point, and then they almost go into amnesia. Their mind takes them off course. And when it's time to say the price, when it's time to ask the question, and it's really simple, like, how do you want to pay? Like McDonald's, do you want extra large or small? Card or bank transfers? But the other thing I believe is a great attitude, which I teach, is selling is helping. And if you are trying to sell something, and if you fail selling, you will be out of business. So no one is expecting you to sell little or no money, because then you are not going to serve the world, and you're not going to serve yourself and your family. What is your take, Stuart?
Yeah, I think it is about that helping, but I love helping people. I love helping people, but the point is that when you're helping, you feel as though that help should be given away freely, and you don't want to do that. And as I think you just said, when it comes to that final point of asking for the money, that becomes people feel dirty, and I think you have to start using your imagination at that point. If you can imagine that this person will be grateful for your help, if you can see that situation sort of in your thinking about what's going to happen after you've had this conversation, if you see that person really happy and their life has been changed by the product or the service or the thing that you're going to do for them, if you can imagine that and use that power of that imagination, then you can easily say, look, you're going to be so much better off after we've done this thing. You're going to be grateful to give me the money. If you've got that internal dialogue, and I think most of the time that's not an internal dialogue we have going on, but if you can hear that dialogue, if you can sort of imagine that dialogue and go, and you're going to be so grateful. So why don't we just move past this slightly uncomfortable feeling now and just say, look, you're going to be really grateful. This is how much you're going to love it. So let's just hand over the money now, because at the end of it, you're going to be so grateful that you'll forget how much you paid because you're going to be so happy with it. That's the point that we need to get to. We need to use our imagination, I think, in order to get people to see beyond this stopping point of, I'm being helpful, but I don't want to move to the point of asking for actual money. It's about realizing that somebody will be really happy. And all you have to do is just say, as you said, how do you want to pay for that? How do you want to pay for the joy that you're going to get at the end of this?
Absolutely. There's one more aspect to this, and I think that's where a lot of people fail. But that part is the lack of certainty.
Yes.
Certainty in, yes, I can help. I'm not here to make money. Like, I know I can deliver value. And of course, I know, let's say I will create a value equal to 20K or $10,000. Then I always say, the compass is just charge 50%. And if you're certain then you can deliver value, no matter what it takes, so you can give some guarantees, then they wouldn't have a problem paying you some of the value that they get, and then even more. Usually that's what happens when, we create something that works in a business that
Yeah.
keeps creating about leads or sales or
Yeah.
whatever it is.
Yeah.
Any last words, Stuart? And we want to hear where you are stuck and what
Yes.
part is the difficult situation that you try to avoid, because that's where the breakthrough is. Any last words, Stuart?
Do you know, it is just learning some strategic or some strategies, some new thinking to move past that point of being stuck. And the most successful people I know have learned to get their conscious and subconscious to come together and see the same situation. Your subconscious stops your subconscious sometimes. If you can get the conscious and subconscious minds to think alike, you move past that break point.
Absolutely. And I love to make those friendships in people's minds so they have no box matches and battlefields, rather than harmony and progress and showing up and getting results. Thanks very
Love
much.
it. Love it.